The best cities to buy rental property in 2026 are not the ones you keep hearing about on every real estate podcast, and that is exactly the point of this video. By the time a market gets hot enough to trend on YouTube, the window for strong cash-on-cash returns has usually already closed. The investors who are quietly building wealth right now are doing it in metros that haven't made a single headline, cities where a solid 3-bedroom house still costs under $200,000, where rent-to-price ratios make sense, and where the economic fundamentals are strong enough to support reliable long-term tenancy. Today, I'm giving you 5 of them, with real numbers, real market data, and the specific reasons each one belongs on your shortlist in 2026. Before I get into the list, I want to establish the 3 filters I run every market through before I spend a single hour analyzing deals. First, job growth in durable sectors. I'm not interested in markets riding a single employer or a single industry. I want diversified employment across healthcare, logistics, manufacturing, education, and government sectors that don't disappear overnight when the economy shifts. Second, population trend. A market that is gaining residents year over year has structural demand for housing built right into it. Vacancy rates stay low, rents trend upward, and your asset appreciates not because of speculation, but because more people want to live there than there are houses available. Third, price-to-rent ratio below 15. This is the number that separates an investment market from a lifestyle market. Divide the median home price by the annual median rent. Anything below 15 means the income the property generates is proportionally high relative to what you paid to acquire it. Coastal cities fail this test badly. The 5 cities I'm about to walk you through pass it comfortably. Number 1 is Indianapolis, Indiana. I put Indianapolis first not because it is the most exciting city on this list, but because it is the most consistent. The Indianapolis metro has added jobs steadily for the past several years across logistics, life sciences, and healthcare, anchored by a major medical corridor and a distribution infrastructure that has only grown with the expansion of e-commerce. Median home price in investor-friendly zip codes sits in the $160,000 to $200,000 range. Market rents for a 3-bedroom single-family home run approximately $1,300 to $1,500 per month, depending on the neighborhood. Price-to-rent ratio lands comfortably around 12 to 13. The landlord-tenant legal environment in Indiana is also notably favorable compared to many other states. Eviction timelines are reasonable, and tenant protections, while fair, do not create the prolonged legal exposure you find in states like California or New York. For a first-time out-of-state investor, Indianapolis offers the combination of accessible entry price, reliable cash flow, potential, and operational predictability that is genuinely hard to find elsewhere at this price point. Number 2 is Columbus, Ohio. Columbus is the market I recommend to investors who want Indianapolis-level fundamentals with a slightly higher growth ceiling. Ohio State University anchors a massive and permanent tenant base of students, faculty, staff, and the ecosystem of businesses that surround a major research institution. But Columbus's economy has diversified well beyond the university. Intel's semiconductor manufacturing investment in the region, combined with a growing financial services sector and consistent healthcare employment, has made Columbus one of the more resilient Midwest economies. Median investment property prices in the outer ring suburbs run $170,000 to $220,000. Rents on a 3-bedroom range from $1,350 to $1,600. The city has been gaining population consistently, which keeps vacancy rates suppressed and gives landlords pricing power at lease renewal time. Columbus also has a deep pool of professional property management companies with competitive fee structures, which matters enormously for out-of-state investors who need reliable operational infrastructure. Number 3 is Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City tends to get overlooked in favor of its more frequently discussed Midwest neighbors, which is precisely why the numbers there are still attractive in 2026. The metro straddles Missouri and Kansas, giving investors options on both sides of the state line with slightly different tax and landlord-tenant environments. Kansas City's economy is built on a genuinely diverse base: agriculture and food processing, logistics and distribution, financial services, healthcare, and a growing technology sector anchored by several major corporate headquarters. The city has been investing heavily in infrastructure and urban development, which has driven appreciation in certain corridors while keeping acquisition prices in the outer suburbs still highly accessible. 3-bedroom single-family homes in strong rental zip codes are available in the $150 to $190 range. Market rents run $1,250 to $1,450. If you run the price-to-rent ratio on a well-selected Kansas City property, you can still find deals sitting at 11 to 12 numbers that are increasingly difficult to locate in any market with genuine economic momentum. Number 4 is Huntsville, Alabama. I want to spend a little more time here because Huntsville is the market on this list that most investors have not yet taken seriously, and the window is narrowing. Huntsville's economy is unlike any other city on this list. It is anchored by the U.S. Army's Redstone Arsenal, NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, and a defense and aerospace contractor ecosystem that includes Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon, and dozens of smaller specialized firms. This is not a cyclical employer base. Federal defense spending and NASA's operational budget do not evaporate during economic downturns the way tech hiring does. The people who work these jobs are high income, highly educated, and tend to be long-term renters before buying exactly the tenant profile that a landlord wants. Huntsville has been one of the fastest growing metros in the Southeast by population for several consecutive years. Median household income is among the highest of any city on this list. And despite all of that, acquisition prices in quality rental neighborhoods are still relatively accessible compared to what these economic fundamentals would command in any other region of the country. 3-bedroom homes in strong rental corridors can still be found in the $170,000 to $210,000 range. Market rents run $1,300 to $1,600. The price-to-rent ratio is tightening as the market matures, which means investors who move in the next 12 to 18 months are getting in at better entry points than those who wait for Huntsville to become a mainstream recommendation. Number 5 is Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati is the quietly excellent market on this list, the one that rarely generates excitement but consistently produces results for investors who do the work. The Cincinnati metro has a highly diversified employer base, including major consumer goods corporations, healthcare systems, financial services firms, and a significant logistics presence tied to the DHL Americas hub at the Cincinnati airport. Population has been stable to modestly growing, and the city's cost of living remains well below the national average, which supports both tenant afford and landlord pricing power simultaneously. 3-bedroom investment properties in strong B-class neighborhoods are available in the $140 to $180 range. Market rents run $1,200 to $1,400. The price-to-rent ratio on a well-selected Cincinnati deal is among the strongest on this entire list. In some zip codes, you are still looking at ratios around 10 to 11, which in 2026 is genuinely remarkable for a city with the economic stability Cincinnati has. Here is the one thing I want to make clear before you walk away with this list and start pulling up Zillow. A good market does not automatically produce a good deal. The city filters your universe. The deal analysis is what determines whether you actually make money. I have seen investors buy in every single one of these markets and lose money because they skipped the full expense stack. They forgot vacancy, ignored capex, underestimated management fees. And I have seen investors buy in all 5 of these cities and build real, durable cash flow because they ran the numbers honestly before they made an offer. The market gives you the opportunity. The discipline gives you the outcome. Pick one market from this list, not 2, not 3, 1. Spend the next 2 weeks going deep on that single metro. Learn the zip codes. Talk to 2 property managers. Find an investor-friendly agent. Run the expense analysis on 10 real listings. By the end of those 2 weeks, you will know more about that market than 90% of the people who claim to invest there, and you will be ready to make a decision based on data rather than enthusiasm. In the next video, I am walking through what early retirement actually looks like with just 3 rental properties, the real cash flow numbers, the mortgage paydown math, and why most people massively overestimate how many doors they need to replace a W-2 income. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop a comment below with which of these 5 cities you are most interested in. I read every comment and will give you my honest current take on that specific market. See you in the next one.